Welcome back to another reaction, this time to the anime Noble Reincarnation, Born Blessed, so I will obtain ultimate power. Sounds like isekai stuff, the quintessential isekai plot. Not having great hopes. We will see.
ここは
Okay.
母さんそんなはずはない俺のおふくろはもっとまともに動けないどうなってるんだ
I never thought about that. But why are so many of these reincarnated people calling the first woman they see mom? Mushoku Tensei has had it right. Because, I mean, all the faults that Rudy has, the first instinct he had was, oh, woman. Not mom. Not aunt, not sister. No, woman. Because, essentially, it's a woman. You don't know it's your mom or someone you are related to unless you know you're a baby. Let's see. All ranks F. Water is the only one which is E. Well, I guess. Level 1 to infinity.
これは俺のステータスかレベルが1に戻ってる
My level's gone back to 1, meaning that this character knows about levels. Interesting. Or his previous life had a level system.
名前
Which is also one of the... I'm assuming he got reincarnated, but he may also be reincarnated into another world, I mean. He could also be in the same world. I do like the idea that we have an isekai from into a fantasy world from another fantasy world. So characters already know a little bit about levels, know a bit about adventuring guilds or whatnot, and are not really our modern human type. I feel like there could be some more stuff being explored there. Generally, it's always my point, isekai has still a lot of stuff we can go with. But for some reason, we just go through all these overpowered main characters harem types. I assume because they sell well enough and they don't want to take any risk.
なし
陛下
よい、そのままにしておれ。
陛下
You are giant, hello?
いい顔だ。眉間にお前の面影がある。
ありがとうございます。私には口元が陛下そっくりに見えます。
このじいさん皇帝か何か
So I'm assuming she's like a concubine? Not necessarily the wife? Which would be something a little bit more realistic to a feudalist kind of era. It seems like they cannot read your stats, or if they can, they just don't really read. Stats may not matter so much at the beginning, maybe? There was another one. Right. Language. Again, this depends on, did he get reincarnated into this world, or reborn, or did he swap to another world? If it's another world, he should not be able to understand them. Isekai gets around that by having like a goddess or whatever putting you into the new world, giving you some blessings, and one of them is understanding the language.
何かなのか
We will have to see.
一体俺に何が起きているんだ
お名前はいかがなさいますか？
ノア・アララートだ。身分は第13親王とする。
13.
ありがとうございます。
Again, it seems like she's a concubine, not wife or whatever. Because I believe the queen would be able to be more open. This mom seems very subservient, very cautious to not get the ire of the king on her side, you know? She's tiptoeing around. She's always thankful, always, you know, very careful.
ございます。
親王、皇帝の実の息子、貴族の中の貴族の称号じゃないか。
ノアの適性は？
水でございます。
では水の一族が多いアルメリアをノアの放置とせよ。
御意。
プラス
What? A Maria land where many of the water clan reside, and now he gets plus S rank?
なんだこれ、こんな数値見たことない。
これで一段落だな。クルーズ、世にこの子の能力を。
Interesting, he can't see it. Huh. I'm assuming the plus rating is invisible. So he's only going to see the F and E ranks.
を見せよ。
御意。失礼いたします。我役立くせし精霊の道から。
Oh, heterochromia, whatever. Two different colored eyes. One water, one fire. Maybe.
精霊の道からによりこの者本心の心も。
How? How did water get to SS? What?
数値見たことない。
E plus S does not equal SS.
ほ
なんだ、数値が違う。
嘘。生まれた時よりすごい。
すでに。
So much higher than he was when he was born. Hmm? Did you check on him?
覚醒されたというのです。
I assume he checked on the boy.
らしい。このお年で SS なんて聞いたことがない。とんでもない才能持ち主の誕生だ。
何にせよ俺は新たなる命を授かり、貴族に転生した。
Again, is it the new world? Are we getting reborn? Is it an isekai reincarnated into another world? Don't really know. He got SS rank water magic for some reason, which makes no sense. Because he got E plus S. We will have to see. It doesn't bode well for the show. Already having SS rank in water magic. They could have just done like E plus S equals D or whatever, or C. You know, that I feel like would already be good. Having someone be C rank after they are born seems pretty strong. Not a big fan of the opening. There was like a rapping part, which at the beginning was fine, but then not as nice listening to it. I feel like we got to see a lot of characters. We have the typical, a lot of maids, we have some knights, we have some other characters that we may get involved with. We see how our character looks like grown up, or at least somewhat grown up, like 8 to 10 years. He has a sword that is as big as him, which is interesting. What I want, well, what I would like, because, you know, this could still be an interesting show. This depends. You have to have a well-rounded package. or you have to have something interesting going on, or a good character. Something interesting with the character. Now, I would like maybe get a little bit of a backstory through of his old life. Maybe he was like a knight. Maybe he seems to not be in nobility before. Maybe he was like something along those lines. Knight, a tank. And maybe that experience can cater through to this life. There's a lot of stuff you can do. I believe beginning after the end, I read the manhwa, and the king plays a big role, or the old life of the main character plays somewhat of a big role, but it tapers off after a little while, and it's not really mentioned that much anymore. It's not that big of an influence. So I would like maybe have a little bit more influence from the old life, or you have something interesting going on now. I mean, you are broken in water magic, which doesn't mean that you are OP. You can't really grow in water magic, though. Maybe there's a restriction. You could do that. You could be like, okay, you are very good at water magic, but you cannot use it as an offensive magic for some reason. Because you are missing, let's say, fire. And fire doesn't grow because you're a water mage. Something along those lines. We will see. I saw a lot of girls. So not gonna be hopeful. We also saw what seems like a big bad, which I don't really need. If you make a story good enough, you don't need the big bad. You need some bad people that we can go against, but you don't need the big bad. You don't need a mass murderer, you don't need a demon king, you don't need an evil god you need to slay. You just need maybe a little slaver, maybe a merchant that takes advantage of the poor folk. Again, you don't need the big bad, at least not at the beginning. Similar again to Mushoku Tensei, where you have these little missions. From the very beginning is like introduction, nothing is going on. You have no goal. Rudy is just learning magic, then he finds a friend. Then his first big goal comes along where he's like, okay, I need to get money to get to the school with my friend. Then stuff happens, then the goal is to go back. You know, slowly. Then the next goal is find people. Then the next goal is okay, try to finish school. All these little missions, and there's enough urgency to get the story going without necessarily the
ガ
big
ガと
bad.
そびえる山脈に囲まれた平野に首都を構える戦士の国
This sounds like a female voice.
ミーレス帝国。黄金期を迎え富が富を呼ぶこの国には絢爛豪奢な文化が花開きました。中でも10人を超える皇帝の実の息子たちは
Yeah, we know 13. Are there any princesses?
親王と呼ばれ誉れ高き貴族として臣民から慕い敬われておりました。おはようございます、ノア様。転生して6年分かったことがある。皆にはこう見えるステータスだが
Oh. This is how my stats look to everyone else. But for you, they do not. Stamina is F plus F. Dexterity is F plus F. Is rank F? better than rank F plus F? Does not feel like it.
だが俺にはこう見
Huh. Oop. So they are not SS. Why? Well, that is a strange system.
見えている。これは俺の部下による上積みだ。例えば水の S は生まれた時に与えられた放置、
Yes,
アルメ
okay.
リアの分。他はメイドたちの分。部下を増やせば俺自身も強くなれるってわけだ。
Oh, interesting. Okay. Interesting power system. So these are your main stats. And the plus stat is the one you get added through other stuff. Being assigned to this water mage city gets you plus S in water magic, meaning everyone would have plus S in this case. Maybe it's only for him. And the plus F in stamina and plus F to dexterity is because of the maids. Interesting. Now it doesn't really explain why you have E plus S and it gets translated to S plus S. That is the... we may get an explanation for that. But I like the idea. The idea is you have your main stats, but you get a modifier to the stats depending on your subordinates. And this may only be a skill that he has. Maybe it's like a king-like skill. Because that would make the most sense. As a king, get a lot of subordinates. You have the whole kingdom, every citizen, and you get better stats.
こう見えている。これは俺の部下による上積みだ。例えば水の S は生まれた時に与えられた放置、アルメリアの分。他はメイドたちの分。部下を増やせば俺自身も強くなれるってわけだ。レベルは無限に成長可能だということか。
Why did you not even raise your level? You are 6. At this point, I mean, depending how you raise your level. If you kill stuff, you get experience to raise your level, then sure. But if you just train, this is always... I really like the games which are like, instead of giving you level, it's like, okay, you use the one-handed sword goes up. Because you use a one-handed sword, you get experience in one-handed sword goes up. Instead of being like, okay, you got the level, and now you can really distribute it. So you go around fighting enemies with a one-handed sword. You put everything in a bow, and now you are master bowman. Don't really like that. I like the other system a lot more. Here we have level. Now the question also is, does every prince have this system? Or is this a specific system for this guy?
お待たせいたしました。今日もとっても男前でございます。
うん。
大したお方ね。いたずら盛りの年なのにいつも対戦としてらして、あれが王者の風格ってやつなのかもね。
Lots of different maids. Okay. A little bit samey, apart from the obvious pink-haired girl. But we... same height, same breast, somehow. Only difference are the faces somewhat. And again, the pink-haired girl and the blue-haired woman. Because she is, I guess more important?
と言っても6歳ではやれることなんて限られてるが。
失礼いたします。
容姿端麗な接客専門のメイドエブリン。
皇太子殿下及び第四親王殿下がお見えになりました。
Are we going to have some political stuff going on?
ゆっくり食べてから参れ
I'm assuming the crown prince is old enough.
との仰せです。皇太子だぞ。そうもいくまい。すぐ案内しろ。おはようございます、兄上。
おお、来たか。
So there's no political intrigue. I assume they would be similar age. And then it would be like, okay, who's going to be the king? He is clearly the oldest one. He's going to be the king. Unless the current king is going to still survive for like 10 years.
折よく食べ終えたところでした。
そういうことにしておこう。相変わらず礼儀正しいな。
Did I not catch his age? I did not. 29. Oh. Crown Prince, second. Second prince. Where's the first? Why is there no first? Is he dead? 29 is a pretty advanced age. 8 years until the 4th, so every 4 years we get someone. And we know he's the 13th, he's like 6. So the second prince is 29. Then it took 8 years to get the 4th prince, meaning the 3rd prince is probably like maybe 4 years between them, somewhat. But from then to our 13th prince, who is 6, are only 15 years. So in those 15 years, we got 9 additional children. Again, most likely concubines, not only the queen, but still that is quite a lot.
ノアは
ああ、
Which makes sense, because you did not only need a prince to take over your country, you also need people to marry off to other places. So that is why princesses are not bad to have. But I guess our king is only getting male heirs?
将来は名宰相だな。
そうなれるよう努力します。
今日はお前にプレゼントを持ってきた。
Okay. So I'm assuming it's a slave. Slave girl? Is that poison? Oh, it's a sword. Why are you are gifting your 13th prince obviously cursed stuff now? We don't really have much insight. I know. Already 25 minutes. Fuck me. It may be that maybe the first or the crown prince and the 4th prince, they are together, working together. And they may see Noah as a problem because he seems to be very adept to noble life. He is SS rank in water magic, so he has a promising future, which, if the king does not abdicate, means that in, let's say, 10, 12 years, he could be announced crown prince out of nowhere. So maybe they want to nip this bud.
なんだ
開けよ。
It's clearly cursed.
嫌だ、お許しを、お許しください、アルバート様。
Looks like a face, okay.
今のは
どうだ、いい剣だろ
はい。
う。持ってみろ。 ん？
これは皇太子からの貸品。拒否権はないな。わかりました。
I assume this is them trying to get rid of him by gifting him a cursed item, so he gets mad. It may also be that maybe he's able to take control of him if he takes the weapon. Because if you want to get rid of him, you can just poison him.
ほう、さすがだな。そいつの名はレビアタン。帝国最強とも言われる水の魔剣だ。手なずけるまでに120人ほど死んでる。
ぶねえ、皇太子の貸品を落とすとこだった。
心配するな。持てぬものなら持った瞬間呪い殺されている。
普通のやつなら箱を持つだけで辛いらしい。なるほどな。水が SS なら持てるのか。いいものを見せてもらったよ。
You were just gambling? You just were like, hey, there's a sword, and people that are people that are not allowed to wield it are instantly dying. So I'm giving it to you. If you die, a problem less to worry about. If you do not die, then we know that someone can wield the sword. And you most likely need SS rank, which he is not, he's E rank. What a weird way to do this.
朝から邪魔したな。
I also wonder how the king sees this. This is always different. In one story, the king is like very off hands. It's like you decide who is going to be the next crown prince. He doesn't care as long as someone takes over. In other stories, he is very hands-on, and he doesn't want to be there to be infighting. I feel like this would not be good if the king allows this.
試したのか、このクソ皇太子。やめよう、口に出したら終わる。
よろしいのですか？貴重な代物でしょうに。
構わんさ。どうせなら優秀なものが持っている方がいい。それに優秀だからこそ飼い犬に手を噛まれる経験はしておくべき。
By his own precious pet.
ゾーイ、どうした？
So they are trying to assassinate him by one of his mates, I assume.
元気ないな。
すみません。お気になさらず。
よい、申してみよ
では後ほどお時間あるときに。
ゾーイ。
実はお暇をいただ
Norse personal maid. Oh.
こうかと思っているんです。
何かあったのか？
先日故郷で洪水がありまして、実家の畑が流され、独り身の母が仕事をなくしてしまったんです。それで親族が遊郭に行けと。こんな私で。
What? I am assuming she's getting paid. Being with, the maid. So people were like, hey, I know you are getting paid. I know you get probably some acceptable income. The money is not necessarily only for her to be there and work as a maid. There's a lot of stuff that a maid in a royal house has to accept, I assume. And the money is most likely for, hey, should these situations occur, it's like a little bit hush money over the time, a little bit of this, I feel like you would pay these people. And they're like, hey, we know you are getting paid. But how about you go and get a little bit more of a lump sum, but then not paid as much? So we get more money? Makes no sense. Under the assumption she gets paid. Which I assume she is.
私でも親王様をお世話していたという売りなら。
そこまででいい。よし、これよりお前の母親には屋敷の、そうだな、裏門の戸締まりを任せる。報給は月10リーンだ。
ご主人様、そんなお仕事聞いたことがありません。
I mean, she's a farmer, right? Just have a little bit of an area for some kind of farm. May I let her start growing crops? Just be a farmer on the estate. Maybe not farm, maybe she can help landscaping.
しかも月並み以上のお給料なんて。
都の西外れに空き家があったな。そこを母親と使え。
She's still a spy, right? The prince made it sound like that he has to be bitten by his loyal pet, which would be the maid.
ありがとうございます。
仕事を続けろ。はい。元使用人が俺の世話をしてたのを売りに遊郭で働く。そんなのを許したら13親王の名が落ちる。俺の使用人になったからには一生俺の使用人でいてもらう。ディラン、
ここに。
ゾーイの故郷ドストで洪水があった。把握しているか？
はい。
そこの土地を買えるだけ買ってこい。
は？
ゾーイの実家のように立ち行かなくなった家から財産を巻き上げようとする輩が現れる。その前に保全しろ。どうした？
いえ、驚いておるのです。ノア様にとっては初めてのご経験なのに、こうもお見事な先読み采配を。
転生前に嫌というほど見てきたからな。
Yeah, I am wondering, because he was not a noble. But if he has the experience beforehand, yeah, makes sense. If there's a catastrophe and the leaders of the country are not really doing much with that, there are a lot of people who are going to take advantage. They are going to buy the land for cheap. They're going to take the treasure so they can exchange stuff. In the end, there are a lot of scumbags. Some of them mean well, some of them do not. Because they could just be going there and say, if you pay me like $1 million, I'm going to take you to the city, I'm going to give you a house and some job. And in the end, they don't do any of that, but take the money. I still wonder what the prince meant. I would prefer her not to betray him, mostly because this gesture he did here is going to solidify her as somewhat of a very loyal maid. Loyalty is very hard to gain, very easy to lose. And you can't buy loyalty. Buying loyalty is not possible. But you can use money to increase the loyalty. In this case, hiring the mom costs you money, but it is going to increase her loyalty because you are helping her out. It's more about helping people in their hardest hour, which increases loyalty. In modern day, if you were in a job and let's say you have a child is sick, and you are not allowed to leave because there are no laws for that, maybe. I don't know the situation in all the world. But if your boss is like, you know what, go care about your child, get some medicine, go early today, you don't need to come tomorrow, I'm going to do your job. This is going to give a lot of loyalty to that person. Not everyone is going to treasure that gesture, but a lot of people are going to have more loyalty towards you if you do stuff like that. Nowadays, companies try to buy loyalty with like these pizza parties, which not going to work. It's most of the time whenever someone is in a very difficult situation and you help them out, that is when loyalty increases normally.
とは言えないが。
しかし原資はいかがなさいますか。ざっと見積もって70万リンほど必要になりますが。
Now, we don't really have an idea about how much money that is. We know the mom is supposed to get paid 10 Reen.
失礼いたしました。驚くのも無理はない。帝都の成人男性の平均。
Okay. And you want to pay the mom 10 per month, right? So also the same as an adult man? Okay. So 120. Like the same, not same as 6,000?
年収は120リーン。俺の俸禄でさえ年8000リーン。
Even my own retainers earn 8,000 Reen per year. 8,000? Do you mean yourself or your mate? Because the pictures of him, and I don't believe you are paying your mate 8,000. You have like 13 people there. That would be insane. I'm assuming this is the amount of money he has for all his retainer. Because if the maid is getting like 8,000, let's say she gets 500, then I would never say, hey, you should go to the red light district. You are never going to get that much money.
1000リーンだ。そこにアルメリアから
Emperor 13th Prince, Almeria, okay.
の税収や陛下からの祝い金などを合わせると、今13親王家で動かせる現金は50万ほど。
Yeah, where are you getting that? Only way is to sell stuff or borrow money. Now you are the prince, you can borrow money.
残り20万か。帝都の南に土地があっただろう。あれを売るしかないな。
あそこは陛下からの貸し品でございます。無断で売れば大不経済になりますぞ。
I mean, he can sell it to someone else in the imperial family. That should be fine. I would just borrow money. 200,000 is a lot of money, yes. But you can be like, I'm going to pay you back 250k in a year. And because you're the 13th prince, you can't really run away. That would be the easiest way instead of selling stuff. Because in the end, we are selling land to buy other land, which is a little bit strange.
構わん。父上の叱責は俺が受ける。
しかし、
ノア様。貴族には義務がある。時にはそれに準じて多くの民の幸せのために動くべきだ。こういう痩せ我慢は貴族の特権でもあるしな。
仰せの通りに。それとノア様。
なんだ。
ありがとうございます。
そうか。そういえばディランも。 あの辺りの出身だっけ？
Is strange. Selling land to buy land. Maybe we get more land. I mean, it was flooded, so it is maybe a flood area which you could use for agriculture, which was, I believe, what the Egyptians did for agriculture around the Nile. I mean, we will see. We will see how this turns out. I mean, it's not only selling land to buy land. I'm assuming you get more land, sure. You also have the problem with his Majesty, so
これは奥。あ、それは待って。そう、2番車にお願い。で、それはまとめて1番車によく。
ずいぶん慌ただしいな。
すみません。お出迎えもせず。ヘンリー兄上。
気にするな。それよりどこかに出かけるのか？
ええ。洪水のあったドストという土地の買い取りを進めていまして、その視察に。
おお、そいつは
兄上。
魔剣を使う気か？
いえ、何らかの力は感じるのですが、あれ以来反応がなく、試しに持参してみようかと。
そうか。
一人でいらしたのはその話で。
アルバートが妙なことを言ってたから調べさせたんだ。どうもあれには意志があるらしい。
意志？
I mean, it has a literal face on it, so not surprised there.
なんでも主と認めた者の命令にしか従わないそうだ。
認められなければ。
お許しをお許しください。
まるで狂犬だな。
持ち歩くのは勝手だが使うなよ。死ぬぞ。
ひどい。
ディラン、役所に行ってこい。
と申されますと？
このありさまじゃ土地の権利書ごと流された家も多いだろう。一旦役所のリストに従って買い取るしかない。
なるほど。
すごいです。
I mean, you could have probably done this beforehand, but fair enough. I'm assuming the government office is in the city where he came from, or maybe in another city. Fair enough.
一目見ただけで。
何かあったら俺が責任を取る。急げ。
承知いたしました。
ゾイは俺と来い。土地勘が欲しい。
あ、はい。
根菜も腐り始めたか。今年は全滅だな。
やっぱり危険です、ご主人様。ここまでなさらずとも。
それ以上止めるなら夜に抜け出して一人で行くぞ。
それは困ります。炊き出しですね。
帝国も仕事してるみたいだな。薄い、ほとんど左右だ。
大丈夫ですか？
ひどい味だ。腐りかけじゃないか。こんなものが。
贅沢言っちゃいいか。こんなものでも今は食えるだけマシさ。ありがたくいただくにゃ。
しかし帝国がこんなものを配るはずが。
ああ、来たよ。
Maybe another prince, or one of the people that want to take advantage of this.
査察である。
誰だ？
この地方のお役人のガリル様です。
こちらです。まあいいだろう。へへ、ありがとうございます。ガリル様の。
Ah. The cooks look in on it. I see embezzlement. Maybe. Depending. I assume. So this is his area. he is responsible for this area. I assume what is going on is that he has this catastrophe. He's going to the king and is like, we need a little bit of relief money. The king is like, no problem, here you go. And he's supposed to use that money to build up this area again, or help at least feed the people so people don't die. So you have an area you can repopulate and you don't lose manpower. And essentially don't lose the growth potential of the country. However, what he can do is just keep the money and use the bare minimum that trickles down to these people. So they may or may not die. So I assume that is what is happening. Essentially embezzling. Because the cook makes it sound like that they are in on providing this garbage food. Which would mean that there's a reason they don't want to spend or help out. Again, most likely to save the money. And that only works if they are supposed to use the money. Which I assume is because they got relief from the emperor.
卒がないなお前は。中抜きか。
ご主人様。
なんだこそ。中抜きしたのか？中抜きしたのだな。子供が偉そうに。俺だって苦労してるんだ。
I always find it weird. People saying, oh, this is tough work for us. You are not doing anything.
それなりの見返りをいただくのは施す者の特権というやつだよ。
その通りです。勉強になったな、坊主。
子供と見れば侮る。被災者への配給品で私腹を肥やす行為は犯罪だ。
Rations intended for disaster victims. Okay. So I did not even consider that maybe they just get a bunch of food that they're supposed to deliver. It could also be that they may get food from surrounding estates, other nobles who are like, we are going to help you a little bit because we want to work together somewhat. So whenever I have a bad time, you come to my help, kind of thing. I don't really know. He's going to punish them, I guess. I don't know. Can he do that?
犯罪だ。
んだこのクソガキ。この私への侮辱はこの地を治めるローエン様への侮辱ともなるんだぞ。分かって。
強き者にへつらい、弱き者を虐げる。量刑を教えてやろうか。
ふざけたこと。
似ているな、あの魔剣と。死罪だ。
Okay, so what was the idea? Straight up. What was the idea? He's like, do you want to hear your sentence? It's death. Meanwhile, he's swinging a sword. You don't have a sword. You don't do anything, so you die? Is that the idea?
ご主人様。
こんなゲスどもと一緒にされて怒ってるな。怒ってるな。ならば、俺に力を示してみろ。
Again, this scene makes no sense. The whole... He's antagonizing him, but he doesn't have any defense. He doesn't have any weapon. He's just hoping the sword is coming for some reason, even though he has no experience with the sword. It would be different if the butler was there or a guard like the maid. Then okay. But this hinges only on the sword doing stuff, which we don't know it can.
お前が強き者で俺は弱き者ってわけか。ちっちゃいな。
Corrupting him, okay.
強き力を振り回し弱者相手に力を誇示するわ。より強き者に怯えるがゆえ強き者に
Sounded like a beast. They did call it Leviathan. Maybe this is like a mythical water beast that was imprisoned in the sword, or maybe turned into a sword.
生まれたならば生まれることができたならば
Similar to like the Emerald weapons in Final Fantasy.
その力を人々のために使ってみせろ。それが貴族の俺の特権だ。俺に従えレビアタン。
死ねカリル様、このガキ。
ガリル様、その子供。
I was like, they would have to see that he's a prince. However, he's the 13th prince. Most people in the country probably don't know what the 13th prince looks like. They may have heard of him. So it makes sense that they may not know who he is. Oh, where did all of these come from?
待て。
すごい。
そこが見えない。お前やべえな。
何事だ。通せ。これは。お助けください。カリル様があの子供に。
And he is the one that knows the prince, okay.
子供。
Knight captain who rules the Dosso. Man, these names. Was he the one that they said they were working for? They're Rowan. I see. So this is the leader of this area. Okay. You let this go on? I mean, you are more or less at fault as well?
お越しいただいているとは知らず失礼いたしました。13殿下。ローエン様。
俺のことを知ってるのか。
は、私はローエングリーン。先日よりこの地の治安維持を拝命。
Okay, okay. Never mind, never mind. Recently appointed. Okay. Okay. So he may not have known this was going on.
命しております。ヘンリー様の家人でございます。
ああ、兄上の。
お前ら何をしている。第13神王殿下の御前であるぞ。
Where's the mom? I feel like people should acknowledge the maid because she came from here and there's like family here in some capacity.
ローエン、しばしお前を借りるぞ。
は、何なりと。
配給職に中抜きがあった。主会のこいつは俺が成敗した。共犯者はそいつらだ。しかるべき刑に処せ。炊き出しはやり直しだ。中身を増やせ。そうだな。レンゲを立てても倒れないくらいにはな。できるか？
は、神明をとしても。食えるのか、まともな飯を。
13神王殿下、バザーイバザーイバザーイバザーイ。
ノア様、すごいです。
I hope she doesn't betray him because of the prince. As soon as we get the mom, we should have her under control because not only is it going to increase loyalty, it is going to reduce betrayal because we have a hostage. Essentially.
わかった。下がれ。手を噛まれるどころか、あの狂犬を屈服させるとは。思った以上に使えそうだ。
Who are you talking to?
ノア・アララ。
Who are you talking about? A loyal pet that did not bite him? Oh. You mean the sword, I guess.
ノア・アララート、陛下の召集に応じ参上いたしました。
報告があった。
Lots of bugs.
世が与えた土地を手放し村を丸ごと買ったそうだな。
来たか。
礼を言う。ノアのおかげで洪水につけ込もうとする連中を未然に防ぐことができた。天災とその後の人災、二重の後始末のために国の資源を投入せずに済んだのだ。いかにして知った？
偶然です。その村出身の者が私のもとでメイドをしておりました。
なるほど。しかし天意でもある。その村で水の魔剣を手なずけたのだろう。
ご存知でしたか？
久々にノアの力を見たいものだな。
They didn't change, right? Not much. Now, the king was saying if this catastrophe would have been followed up by a man-made disaster, they would have needed to use imperial resources to solve it. Now, that means the king could have bought the village, but he would have needed the crown's money to do that, which he was unwilling to do, most likely because of the perceived usage of the money, because then he is supposed to help everyone in every situation, and he can't really do that. I would have liked for him to at least set up some stuff around that. As an example, he could have just sent one of the princes to do that and financially supported him because he can give them money and stuff, instead of just hoping it resolves without anyone taking advantage of it, which is rarely the case. So I don't know. It feels like he wanted to help, or he wanted to reduce the risk of another disaster happening, but he didn't want to use imperial money, but also was unable to direct anyone else to do that. A little bit strange.
失礼いたします。
従えるのは人間じゃなくてもいいようだ。
Mm-hmm. Now we have SS in water.
いつも俺の見ているものとは違う。
素晴らしい。
なんと
I see E transformed into an S.
水がプラスのない SSS。
ノア、これからも世の力になってくれ。
はい。
I mean, we naturally need a lady. So we have ending time. I like the idea of the stat system. We still need an explanation why the E turns into S. We will get that potentially, I hope. But I like the idea of the rest where your subordinates add to your skills. That could be a very neat system that concentrates more on getting a lot of followers to increase your stats further than the maximum. It also lends itself well to be a king, which I guess is the main goal. So I do like that. Character is fine. He seems to take some knowledge from his past life into this life. Don't really have any idea what his past life is about. Did not really get any information. We may get that later. Additional characters, we didn't really see much. It seems the Crown Prince is up to some bullshit. The Force Prince tries to keep him in check. The Crown Prince was trying to kill our main character, but he took control of the sword, which the Crown Prince is fine with too, somehow. I do not like the king, that he was, again, that he was like, this is a disaster and this can be followed up by a man-made disaster, but I don't want to use royal money to solve this for probably a lot of different reasons. But he was also unable to direct anyone else to help under the guise of just the prince doing his own stuff, and he then gives them a little bit of a kickback. Now, it would still be a lot of money lost for whoever intervenes, like our prince. 700k is a lot. But the king may have reduced that amount by like maybe half by providing some special gifts in return. This way, the money would not have been used to help. It would have been used to enrich one of the princes, and you can have like a million reasons. As example, he is triple S ranked. He could give him a bunch of gifts because of his stellar performance and growth, and everyone would be fine with that. And the prince can then use that those gifts to use as relief money. That's the only part I did not really like too much. But so far it's not really bad. We will have to see.